Never trust a person. If you must make friends, make your enemy your friend. Someone once said, a friend is like a mirror in which you recognize yourself. But maybe they didn't add that sometimes that mirror shows not your face, but your ruin. Think for a moment about the people around you who call you brother, friend, partner every day. Do you really know which of them is loyal to you and which one is only waiting for your downfall? In the world of power, friendship is the sweetest poison. An enemy strikes from the front, but a friend smiles, hugs you, and slowly puts a hand around your neck. Every king needs a friend whom he can sacrifice for his crimes. Yes, this world is not what you thought. Here, loyalty is a goal, and betrayal is the currency. Every king has a pawn that he sacrifices in the final move. Every ruler knows that sometimes, to save his own innocence, he must throw his own friend into the gutter. And that's a lesson ordinary people never understand, because they believe friendship is sacred. The truth is, in the game of power, friendship is just a mask that hides manipulation, jealousy, and a hunger for control. Now, one question for you. If you had a chance to secure your success and your name by sacrificing one friend, would you take that step? Don't think this is merely a hypothetical question. Everyone faces this test at some point in life. And in that one moment, you either remain a human or become a king. The first rule of power is not whom to trust, but whom you can sacrifice. So if you think your best friend would give their life for you, beware. Perhaps they'll be the first to nail your coffin. If you have the courage to see the truth, sit down. Because today we're descending into that dark place where you don't smell friendship, but only the scent of power. Welcome to the side of truth, where every friend is a pawn and every smile conceals a deal. Comment, I trust no one, if you've understood this dark game. Because today, we'll talk about the art where friends become weapons and a person becomes a king. So let's go into Lucifer's world. The 48 laws of power. Law 2. Music. In every empire's story, there comes a moment when loyalty and trust turn to poison. It was the mid-9th century. In the Byzantine Empire, the ruler was Michael III, a young, inexperienced, and naive emperor. His mother Theodora had been exiled to a monastery, and her lover Theoktistos had been murdered. Behind this conspiracy was a name, Bardas, Michael's uncle, a clever, cunning, ambitious man who now sat on the throne. Michael, ignorant of politics and surrounded by intrigues, needed someone he could trust with his eyes closed. Then his gaze fell on his closest friend Basil, a humble stable hand who once came from a poor peasant family. One day, Basil did something that changed his fate. In the royal stables, a wild horse ran amok and nearly trampled Michael. Basil saved his life. His bravery won the emperor's heart. From that day, Michael raised the poor stable boy, made him head of the palace, showered him with gifts, taught and groomed him into a cultured courtier. The two became inseparable, king and friend. That tale of trust would later turn into conspiracy. When Michael became emperor, he did not choose an experienced courtier as his advisor, but this loyal friend, Basil, because he believed that the man who would give his life to save him would never betray him. That is the deadliest illusion. Basil tasted power. He saw the glitter of court life, and his heart filled with greed. He wanted more wealth, and Michael fulfilled every demand. His salary was doubled, then tripled. He was made a noble. Michael even arranged his marriage to Eudoxia, his lover. Michael thought keeping a loyal friend happy at any cost was right. But the real price was yet to come. Basil began to slowly poison Michael's mind. He whispered in the emperor's ear, "Your uncle Bardas is ambitious. He is plotting against you. He is the very man who put you on the throne." Now he will be the one to remove you." Michael fell for his friend's words and ordered Bardus killed. One day, while the whole empire watched a procession, Basil stepped out of the crowd and, acting on Michael's order, stabbed Bardus. And when Bardus fell, Basil had killed not only a man, but also the trust between a king and his friend. A short while later, Basil declared himself commander of the army because he wanted to seize the veins of the empire. Michael thought he had secured the empire. In truth, he had seated his own killer beside the throne. Remember, breaking the law isn't always a crime. Sometimes it is an art, and some write it in blood. The fall of every empire is often written by its own hands. Under Byzantium's sky, a new sun rose, but the darkness below had grown. Basil, once a stable boy, had become the most powerful man in the empire. Wealth, honor, the army, all his. Even Emperor Michael depended on him. Time passed. Michael's extravagant spending drained the treasury, and one day he told his old friend, "Basil, I have to repay the debts I owe you." That day the king realized for the first time that his empire was no longer his. Basil looked him in the eye and said, "I will not return it." That look, that brazen smile, that silent declaration meant, "Now you'll see who the real king is." Michael suddenly understood. The man he had raised, taught, adorned, and entrusted with the keys to the empire was digging his grave. Within weeks, one night when wine had dulled his senses, Michael awoke to find soldiers around him, swords gleaming, and Basil standing by the door. Calm, cold, and satisfied, Basil gave the sign. The soldiers stabbed their emperor on the palace floor. Michael did not cry out, because in truth, he was already dead. The day he had trusted his friend with closed eyes, Basil did this. He converted his crime into a crown, mounted his horse, rode through Constantinople, and Michael's severed head swung from the tip of his spear for people to see. Power smiled and said, "See, this is the price of breaking the law." Michael had leaned his empire on his friend's shoulders. He thought the friend would never be his ruin. But human nature cannot bear kings. It makes a burden of them and one day discards them. Michael had birthed a monster, a man who began to consider himself God and ultimately swallowed his creator. Beware of friends. Enemies want to harm you, but a friend destroys you from within. Power is governed either by fear or by intelligence. After the fall of the Han Dynasty, China lived in a curse. Every few years, the same scene repeated. A weak emperor was killed. Power passed into the hands of a general, and soon, the general killed his companions to start a new dynasty. Then, another general rose and washed the throne in blood the same way. Every emperor feared his own soldiers. Every night, whispers of conspiracy echoed through the palace walls. Being a king in that land meant being on the most precarious path. Then came a name, Cao Guangqin, later known as Emperor S. He knew that if he didn't do something different, his head would be on someone else's sword the next year. But Shun S did not want to rule by cruelty. He wanted to rule by cunning. After his coronation, he held a grand banquet. The most powerful generals of the realm were present. Wine flowed, laughter rang out, but fear was in every eye because each man suspected he might be killed that night. Shun ordered his guards to leave. The hall now held only the king and his generals. He rose and said in a calm voice, "Days are spent in fear, nights in anxiety, because I know the throne comes in the dreams of each of you." Silence fell. Shun smiled and asked, If your subordinates forcibly put the emperor's yellow robe on your head, could you refuse? The generals trembled, their voices stuck. They cried, "We are loyal, sire. We would never do such a thing." Shun slowly raised a cup and said, "I have not come to kill you. I have come to free you. If you are tired of war, fear, and conspiracy, give up your post. I will give you palaces, land, money, and pleasure, where you can spend your life with singers and women in peace." The next morning, all the generals resigned, and Shun turned those friendly wolves around him into innocent sheep. With one move, he changed predatory men into meek lambs. In the year 971, the king of southern Han, Liu, surrendered. Everyone expected Shun to poison or imprison him. But Shun smiled, raised a cup, and said, "To our new friendship." Liu trembled and said, "Sire, I have sinned against you. Please let me live." Shun laughed and drank the cup himself. There was no poison. In that moment, Liu's fear vanished and he became Shun's most loyal companion. Years later, another rebellious king, Chen Shu, fell. Ministers urged punishment. Shun smiled and said no, he would honor him. He gifted Chen a bundle and told him to open it on the road. When Chen opened it, it contained documents proving his conspiracy. He trembled and realized Shun already knew everything. Yet Shun pardoned him, and at that moment, the rebel became his most faithful servant. Shun taught that the man who kills his enemy rules by fear. The man who wins over his enemy lives forever. Michael had raised his friend and thereby ruined himself. But Shun bent his enemies and stabilized his realm, because sometimes mercy is the most dangerous weapon. When Emperor Shun took the throne, he knew he was walking between jaws. The generals who sat in his courtyard had already trapped him. If he had cut them off one by one, the rest would have risen for revenge. So Shun chose another path. He did not execute them. He sent them away happily. He said, "If you are tired of power, fear, and conspiracy, come, I will give you land and comfort." The next day, the most powerful generals gave up their posts and retired to prosperous lives. Shun had turned wolves into meek, grateful, and peaceful men. Then he used defeated enemies who, once spared, became his greatest debtors. They wanted nothing, having received everything, and paid with unwavering loyalty. This method made the Shun dynasty rule for more than 300 years. Do not rely on friends, because friends increase expectations, burn with envy, and eventually turn. Instead, spare an enemy. He becomes your most dependable servant. And so Shun broke the cycle of violence and coups in China. Abraham Lincoln, during the American Civil War, told the Southerners, "They are also human. They simply lost their way." When an old woman told him that they should be wiped out as enemies, Lincoln calmly replied, "How can I destroy my enemies when I make them my friends?" That is, turning an enemy into a friend is naturally the most effective victory. The true game of power isn't about how many people you can kill. It's about how many people you can make stand for you. Mercy is never weakness. Sometimes it is the deadliest weapon. Life's most dangerous enemy isn't the one who stands before you, but the one who stands with you. He smiles, praises you, but there is no place for you in his heart, only jealousy. He's not with you. He's only waiting for you to fall so he can say, "I knew it." The irony is that an enemy can never break you as much as a false friend can, because a friend has penetrated your trust. And when the blow comes from within, there is no cry. But now, you are no longer an ordinary person. You have seen the true face of this game. You now know that sometimes it is necessary to burn the relationships around you so you can rise from the ashes of your true self. Lucifer says, "Is everyone likes you? You haven't yet done anything that truly frees you. So salute your enemies, because they show you a mirror in which your darkness is reflected. And that darkness gives you power." The music gets a little louder. Now, I'll leave you with a question. If you wake up tomorrow morning and all your friends turn against you, will you still be the same person you are today? Tell me in the comments. Can you recognize the darkness inside you that has always been there, but you never embraced? A slight pause, the sound of a cold breath. If yes, then welcome. In a world where there is no light, only the light you create in yourself burns. Remember, those who fear the dark never become kings. Those who embrace the dark write history. The devil doesn't just whisper lies. He simply tells the truth no one else dares speak. Now it's your turn. Type in the comments, "I watch from behind the mask so I can know." You are one of the few who understand and feel this darkness and are not afraid of it. Music, end.